what is it about the Gypsy? I mean, I've seen so many guys, so many rally drivers, you know, just going pedal to the metal on the Gypsy and choosing Gypsy as their weapon of choice. What is it about the Gypsy that makes?
See, to be very honest, this is a vehicle which will not empty your pockets at every breakdown.
Okay.
It's a very easy to maintain. The only investment is that you'll have to build the car. That's your initial cost. Once that is done, a complete suspension work, even if you do the engine overall and everything. I'm talking about the standard builds, 1300cc and the regular setups that you have.
Okay.
You don't spend more than 30 to 40,000 rupees just to get the car done up. You know, so it's like that. So if you go for any sedan, talking about VW Polos, or you talk about Balinos, talk about Vitaras, by the way, if I'm coming into 4x4, your main cost is your suspension. And only suspension that you can run now currently is Rigers. Now Rigers is almost like 10 lakh rupees for a Vitara.
At least.
VW is costing 6 lakh rupees. There are other cars also which are driving on Rigers only, which are almost in the range of between 6 to 10. So it's a big cost. Between 6 to 10, we can have this Gypsy prepared multiple times, and being the cheapest vehicle to run, easier to maintain, cost effective. I think this is the best 4x4 that they actually can do. That's why it's been used by armies for years now.
Correct.
So everybody calls this vehicle as a war horse,
War horse.
And to be very honest, if somebody understands the entire characteristics of this vehicle, which I have done over the years, it's a beautiful vehicle to drive. Give me a Gypsy, I go crazy in it. I just have to do my rallying, then I don't feel like stepping out of this vehicle because you get used to and get adapted to that feel. And then you go and get that feel. You feel safe also, though this is clumsy. It gives you that warning, okay, don't misbehave with me, I'll topple. It gives you that little extra feel ki bhai nahi, sudhar jao. Don't act smart with me. You have seen videos, people going on two wheels and coming back also. So you learn the trick of this vehicle, you'll love the vehicle.
Amazing. At a very softer level, what is it about the Gypsy that fascinates you? At a very softer level, not mechanical, but कुछ तो है, I'm sure Gypsy के बारे में जो आपको एक बड़ा fascinating लगता होगा.
Yeah, to be very honest, इसकी जो entire feel है ना, अगर open Gypsy चला रहे हो, वो college और school days की याद आती है. And जैसे भी हर youngster की Gypsy एक dream vehicle हमेशा रही है. And now तो अब तो आप जानते हो कि Gypsies जो है ना, ये third गाड़ी या fourth गाड़ी बनी हुई है लोगों के घर पे. People have started using for expeditions. Rally में तो definitely है ही है. Lot of people have started doing off-road craze has come into India in a very big way.
Right.
So this was the first initial experiment that people took with. A lot of monster trucks have been built. Something like this. And again, like I said, to have a Gypsy is like a prestigious thing to have, in your garage, in your parking lot. Because then what happens is कि अच्छा Gypsy नहीं है तो यार ऐसा लगता है कि कुछ है नहीं, and very unfortunate that Maruti had to stop the production in 19 for the civilians.
Very unfortunate.
So that was a heartbreaker for a Gypsy lover. And
आप अपनी बात कर रहे हो, I mean, so
in general in public.
I personally know people because we work with Maruti a little bit. So Maruti में I personally happen to know a lot of people who are such fanatics about Gypsy.
Yeah.
The production people, they themselves are like, यार इतना बुरा लग रहा था production बंद करते हुए, but करें क्या?
I don't know. See, it's a big thing. Maruti has taken a step backward of discontinuing Gypsy. Maybe obviously they have their own internal,
they have to be with the market.
Exactly, and they have to. It's trending. It's trending. If you do not upgrade, you do not go by the years passing by. So technology wise, so I'm sure it's difficult. Absolutely. But then I think the new product that they've launched now should do well as what I foresee. Obviously, there are a lot of things that you have to look into before that vehicle actually gets marketed well. So looking forward to it that it should do well. Jimny should do well.
So I have a Gypsy I picked it up from a friend of mine. He participated in the RFC. उसमें अब Gypsy का कुछ है नहीं. I think the gearbox and the transmission is still Gypsy.
Okay.
But again, it has crawler gears, higher ratio, dual coilover suspension, 1.6 का engine, and boss, what a cracker.
Exactly.
What a cracker.
See, when you're doing a project with a Gypsy, Gypsy is a very friendly vehicle where you can do a lot of mods. Samurai internationally is there. Jimneys internationally are there. In Japan, you go to Thailand, you go to Australia. These are phenomenal 4x4 vehicles.
True.
and you get a lot of parts internationally.
हाँ.
So वहाँ का जो concept था, there are a lot of people in Punjab who are actually building these vehicles, and at a level where it is, basically RSC is basically an international event. It happens in Malaysia.
True.
तो concept पूरा इंडिया में आया. Cougar Motorsport is the one who initiated this event in India, and it went on a very big scale. Now people have spent almost close to 35 to 40 lakh rupees.
And in fact, I've noticed one thing कि जब RFC अब तो खैर एक इंडिया में भी एक ऊपर अलग लेवल पे आ गया, but when it had started in India, I remember more than 80% of the people using Gypsy as the base car.
Exactly, base had to be Gypsy only, because this was the cheapest vehicle to buy.
Cheapest and probably one thing जिसको वो कहते हैं ना कि पेड़ से भी फेंक दो तो भी कुछ नहीं होगा.
Exactly, मतलब ये वो गाड़ी है कि अगर इसका आपका एक्सेल टूट गया है तभी गाड़ी चल जाती है, आपका शॉकर टूट गया तो कमानी इसमें चल जाती है, कमानी छूट जाती है तो शॉकर्स पे चल जाती है. सो लाइक आई सेड, दिस इज अ वेरी फ्रेंडली व्हीकल. इसके अंदर ना मतलब आप रिलायबिलिटी एक्सपेक्ट करते हो, इट इज नॉट समथिंग यार अच्छा ये टूट गया तो मैं क्या करूंगा, रास्ते में खड़ा तो नहीं हो जाएगा.
करेक्ट.
एंड एनी टॉम डिक एंड हैरी ऑन द रोड कैन सर्विस दिस व्हीकल एंड रिपेयर इट. एंड स्पेशली व्हेन यू गो आउटसाइड, यू गो टुवर्ड्स हिमाचल साइड, यू गो टुवर्ड्स साउथ साइड, यू गो टुवर्ड्स एनी मैकेनिक, वो ये गाड़ी को रेडी रिपेयर कर देगा. ये है,
इतना सिंपल है इसको मेंटेन करना. एंड I mean, I just feel that, people, why there is, so Gypsy is a cult, you know it very well. और मुझे ये लगता है कि, what has happened is, Gypsy इतने अलग-अलग level पे it has been used. इतने अलग-अलग extreme levels पे या non-extreme levels पे, army में it has been used that people have such fond memories of owning a Gypsy कि उनका मन ही नहीं करता और कुछ लेने का उसके बाद.
देखो यार, जब Gypsy बंद हुई थी, and obviously it was a major setback for everybody.
हाँ.
तो नेक्स्ट बेस्ट थिंग हैपेंड वाज कि आर्मी ऑक्शन की गाड़ियां रिस्टोर होना शुरू हो गई. दैट इज वेयर वी आल्सो कम इनटू प्ले. वी वर वेरी हैप्पी, एटलीस्ट पीपल आर स्टिल वांटिंग टू बाय सच कार्स एंड वांटेड टू गेट इट रिस्टोर्ड. एंड नाउ Gypsies आर गेटिंग रिस्टोर्ड टू almost like factory condition. There are people who are doing it. I am doing it. Then there are a lot of mods that happen. So we basically we're trying to educate people also. There is something, a Gypsy should remain like a Gypsy, not converting a Gypsy into a sedan feel.
Correct.
That's what my photo is कि अगर Gypsy ले रहे हो तो Gypsy की फील ही रखो. अब कोई हमारे को फोन करता है जी इसके अंदर हमारे को पावर स्टीयरिंग भी चाहिए, एक कमोडिटी है वो, ठीक है, हमको सेंटर लॉकिंग भी चाहिए जी, हमारे को इसके अंदर पावर विंडोज भी चाहिए. ऐसे ये Gypsy है, इसको अगर Gypsy की तरह ही रखोगे यू विल एंजॉय द व्हीकल बेटर.
Exactly.
And it is not about just making money and put everything and anything onto a vehicle just to get an extra buck out of it.
Exactly.
So that's my policy. I don't want to sell something which is not meant for this vehicle.
Correct.
And just to make little money out of it and to tell customers कि सब कुछ डाल दो.
Correct.
I don't do that. ठीक है. First thing everybody will call up and ask कि power steering मिलेगा Gypsy में कि नहीं मिलेगा, because it is a difficult steering to maneuver.
I think once you start driving, then it's
exactly. मतलब I can drive a Gypsy with one hand also. ठीक है. The only thing is the cutting. The cutting when you are at a slower speed, it is a little difficult to park.
That's all.
And that is where you actually require that it should have a little power steering. But
उसकी भी
to get that drive and feel, you don't need that thing.
बिल्कुल जरूरत नहीं.
I'm totally against that setup. People have actually gone and modded in terms of suspensions. We have done that also.
Right.
You run on the regular leaf springs. Good suspensions are available. Profender is there. Ironman is there. Dr. Nano is there. So, depending on the budget a customer has, you can upgrade. You can lift up the car. You can increase the ride quality. Once you have a longer travel shocks, the ride quality becomes slightly better. A lot of accessories have come into play. Then our USP was putting aluminum sheet flooring. So basically what happens is Gypsy has a tendency, पानी बहुत आता है Gypsy में from the front area. So क्या होता था कि जब आपका कारपेट होता है तो कारपेट सो करने के बाद ऑब्वियसली आप हर रोज तो कारपेट निकालोगे नहीं, या एवरी डे जब मानसून आ रहे हैं तो आप कारपेट निकालो उसको गीला करके छोड़ दो, तो नहीं होता था. तो वी केम अप विद द आइडिया ऑफ पुटिंग अ चेकर प्लेट. ऑब्वियसली दैट इज आल्सो नीड्स टू बी मेंटेन्ड बिकॉज़ सीलेंट डालनी पड़ती है. अगर आप सीलेंट नहीं लगाओगे तो देयर आर गैप्स एंड द वाटर कैन गो इन. सो दैट इज अ पीरियोडिक मेंटेनेंस दैट यू शुड डू ऑन योर व्हीकल. तो हमारा ये निकला था कि हमने फ्लोर के ऊपर चेकर प्लेट्स वगैरह लगाने से टू बेसिकली कट द कारपेट थिंग कि वो सो करके डस्टिंग पे ना ज्यादा है. So a lot of things we have done onto the vehicle. Now we have come up completely different setup, putting Mercedes AMG vents, looking and making the dashboard look more brighter. So most of the projects recently we are doing that and people start liking it. We've changed the seats also onto the vehicle because Gypsy seats are very clumsy again, smaller base, and then it's very flat. So Gypsy is a vehicle where you bounce a little bit. When you're on the corner of the seat, you go like this, you go like this. So obviously we have got the best suited seats for Gypsy also.
Right.
So you put those. So depending on a budget a customer has, We give them a code. We tell them what is required. This is how you can, improve the ride quality. Engine specs, again from 13 to 16, then GTI. So it's a twin cam engine. It's I have driven that GTI engine for a very long period of time during rally days. Also.
GTI is which engine?
Suzuki only.
Suzuki.
It's a twin cam engine and very powerful.
Okay.
It's very torquey. Okay. And the engine itself is a semi-forged engine.
Okay.
So you don't have to do upgrade onto that engine anything unless you really want to soup it up. So that engine, you actually can go up to 140, 145 bhp.
Without a turbo.
Without a turbo. So you can, these 1300cc engines also you can go up to 130 easily, depending on the forged stuff that you use, con rods, piston, rings, so many things you can do. So in South there is a lot of technology. The bigger workshops who are getting and doing. Now I recently went to the autocross in Bangalore where I wanted to test my rally gypsy. This is also a turbocharged.
Okay.
So wanted to test the gypsy and I saw cars there which are almost close to 240 bhp, Zen 240 bhp with completely aerodynamically driven.
Zen 240?
Yeah. It's there, Honda Cities. Crazy atmosphere there.
Oh my god.
And I was the only gypsy guy driving there on the tarmac.
I was mentioning it to you only, na? This guy who's done a gypsy and he's put a huge ass turbo and it only made it for drag racing.
Yeah. It's a quarter mile gypsy. The setup that we have on on my gypsy is again a 1600cc engine, with a customized turbo, and it's like I'm not into drag racing, I'm not into quarter mile or something, I'm into rallying.
Correct.
So my main area of worry was कि इसकी reliability कितनी रहेगी, because when you're into rallying there is a lot of dust which goes.
True.
Intake of the dust into a turbo, the propeller will go bad. The input shard will go bad on the turbo. So that was the worry. So we came into a turbo setup where a gypsy is reliable. I have done and won a lot of events in a setup. I used to, the first turbo that I built was in 2016, where I won the festival fee, Arunachal Festival of Sweet. I won the overall event in a turbocharged gypsy overall.
Okay.
So that was my first time experience. I built that. And then there was no looking back because you get used to that so much, and that time it was only 147 bhp.
Okay.
Now currently, after experimenting, after doing everything from 1300 to 1600 to even GTI setups.
Okay.
So now current setup recently we have achieved is close to 180 bhp, which is this can actually go up to 200 bhp. The setup that we have in the rallying, you'll have to put the restrictor in to control the induction. So with the restrictor, it's almost close to 180 bhp, 147 wheel horsepower dynoed. So this is the fastest setup that we have actually ever driven now.
How does it feel? I mean, making this kind of a vehicle go so fast. कुछ तो एक अंदर से एक emotional होता होगा.
देखो
उस चीज का.
Like over the years जो हमारे को workshop के experience वगैरह मिला, I wanted to build something for myself which was out of the box. People thought कि gypsy reliable नहीं होती है. टर्बो लगा हुआ तो रिलायबल नहीं है. टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, मेरे को टर्बो ने आज से कभी प्रॉब्लम दी. इट्स द अदर एस्पेक्ट्स. कभी फैन किक इन करना बन गया, गाड़ी हीट कर गई, कभी कुछ हो गया, नीचे से सम्प पे लग गया. सो दैट इज वेयर यू लॉस्ट a rally and you went DNF, But then in terms of turbo setup, turbo has never given me any problem till date.
Okay.
And I don't intend to have that also because now currently I'm going for Arunachal INRC.
Okay.
So again, it's a completely tarmac event.
Okay.
Obviously, spec 1 INRC cars, Group A, Group B. Everyone is coming with their faster cars over there, The Polos are very fast there. I remember when I went for INRC 2 years back also, I did pretty well till the time I was running. Okay. So started at 33 position. Obviously, it's a gypsy class, so gypsy starts late. I was overall 11th that time in the first day. So gypsy can do well. So now keeping my fingers crossed, the setup that we have there, we should do pretty well. There are good drivers in gypsy this thing also class, but I feel like having an overall standing is what is very important. So I am not saying that I want to finish in top 3 or top 4, but an overall gypsy coming in top 10 also, top 7 also, it's a big feeling for me.